And we begin tonight at 5 o'clock with breaking news. A judge just made a ruling, finding a man guilty in the death of a local pizza delivery driver.
So that man was killed in March of 2023. Rich and I is live tonight outside the courtroom with reaction from the family to the verdict.
Anne Marie and Felicia, Justin Turner ordered pizza and wings, but he used a fake name, and he also had that delivered to a vacant house. The prosecution said that was all a setup to rob Steve Flynn. Now, this happened in March of 2023. Steve Flynn was working for Papa John's, and Justin Turner today was found guilty of murder and robbery. Today's bench trial, we saw security video that a neighbor started recording after hearing a gunshot outside their house. And that video shows Steve Flynn's car being driven off. Steve Flynn was left lying shot in the yard across the street. Now, that car was ditched about a mile north, and then we saw video also in the trial today of a man walking with 3 pizza boxes past a school in several places and also into an assisted living community where he shared that pizza with the residents. Justin Turner's aunt lived at that assisted living community. Now, eventually police traced the phone that the call was made from to order the pizza to Justin Turner. They also eventually arrested him, found a gun, his DNA on the gun, and matched that gun to the bullets that killed Steve Flynn. Lots of his family here today, including a sister I talked to after the verdict.
I was so pleased. I mean, I thought the prosecution and the detectives, everybody did a good job presenting the case, and I was so relieved. It's taken a couple years, but it's finally here, and it feels great.
This was so ridiculously senseless. How do you put any of this in perspective?
You know, myself, my whole family, none of us can put it, you can't put it behind you because it is so senseless. It just makes no sense. So each and every day we miss him, and couldn't have happened to a better person. Steve was just one of those great guys.
And Steve Flynn's widow was here at the trial as well today. She did not wish to speak after the verdict. Justin Turner will be sentenced on May 9th. His defense argued today that there was no real proof that he was the man at the scene who was the shooter. But the judge said that he was convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Justin Turner was responsible for the murder of Steve Flynn, finding him guilty on all 5 counts he was charged with.
All right, Rich Nye reporting tonight from the Criminal Justice Center. Thank you so much. Also tonight, police are now investigating a crash along I-70 in Wayne County. It happened this morning just before 4:30 between New Lisbon and Jacksonburg. Investigators say that a truck went off the side of the road, through a ditch, and then flipped multiple times. Police say the driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected. The area was shut down for an investigation for multiple hours, and at this hour tonight after 5, it is back open.
Metro Police say they have arrested a suspect in a murder that happened in late February. Around 3 a.m. on February 27th, police were called to an area near 10th Street and North Tibbs Ave. 38-year-old Pedro Mozambite was found with a gunshot wound. He died at the scene. Today, police announced they have arrested a 47-year-old man in connection with this case.
Today, police in Lafayette released surveillance video and body cam footage of a shooting at a laundromat.
The shooting happened in December. 3 people were shot. One of them ended up dying. That entire shooting took place in less than 1 minute, and we are using still images from the footage to show you what happened. Police say the shooter, Louis McLaughlin, drove from Lincoln, Nebraska to Lafayette on December 5th, and he arrived at the laundromat by 7:30 that night. The video shows him enter the business and just start shooting. The video also shows McLaughlin fire enough shots to empty the clip, then reload and walk around before leaving the laundromat. He then went outside the business and shot himself, where he died. Investigators say it was discovered that McLaughlin thought people in Lafayette were controlling his mind. Police say he had no connection to any of the victims and consider this a random act of violence. Indianapolis public schools say their measles vaccination rates have jumped as they work to be proactive against an outbreak.
Tonight, our Marina Silva looks at what IPS is doing right now to reduce the risk of an outbreak to our local students.
I think it just goes to show that most people want to get their kids vaccinated.
Dr. Megan Carlson is the Director of Health Services at IPS. She oversees student immunizations for all IPS students, and she's seeing success. In August of 2024, roughly 80% of IPS students were vaccinated against the measles. Now, that rate has hit 95%. That's because the district has increased access and awareness of the needed vaccines. IPS has implemented a policy. If a student has a confirmed measles case, all students who are not vaccinated must quarantine.
You're supposed to have 2 doses by the age of 5, and if they do not meet that criteria, then they have to quarantine for 21 days. And that is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if you have an exemption on file, it's 21 days.
Nationwide, there is a spike in measles cases. In all of 2024, there were 285 cases. Already, as of March 6th this year, the CDC reports 222 confirmed cases. It's a virus that was once thought eliminated.
Please get vaccinated. Vaccines, the MMR vaccine, it is safe, it is effective, and 2 doses protects you 97%. Measles, at the end of the day, scares me a million times more than COVID does.
Dr. Carlson's guidance is for adults too.
If you're unsure, you could always check with your healthcare provider, your healthcare clinician, and see if you need a titer. And a titer will tell you whether or not you're immune or if you need another vaccine. It's better safe than sorry.
A message IPS hopes will reach all of its students and their families. Reporting in Indianapolis, Marina Silva, 13 News.
And one way that's happening is that students will be bringing home information about vaccinations as they arrive home for spring break.
And here's a development. After a months-long delay, the Public Works Committee for Indianapolis may finally be ready to vote on a snow removal proposal for the city.
Last month, the city implemented an interim plan. Logan Gay joins us live before the meeting, which will be kicking off at 5:30.
Logan, can you walk us through this proposal again?
Yes, Felicia, it's called Proposal 69, and it will require the city to include residential roads in the plowing process, if it snows 4 inches or more. Now, this all came about after a lot of people were upset with the city last year about their plowing procedures. You might remember there were hundreds of side streets left covered in snow for weeks after 11 inches of snow fell in January. And it was 13 News that learned this happened because more than 1,000 miles of residential roads are not included in the city's policy. Since last month's meeting, the committee said they were going to use the time to work on the proposal some more and gather feedback and research. At the time, Chairwoman Kristen Jones called the interim plan a win.
Once you get that ordinance, it's not as flexible as an internal policy. We want to make sure that we get it right. We don't want a worthless piece of paper. We want to make sure that it is a good, solid policy for the citizens of Indianapolis.
Now, we also spoke with Councilor Josh Bain after last month's meeting, and he did not agree with the delay. He said he planned to introduce a proposed amendment to lower the threshold to 2.5 inches. And I guess we'll just have to see if that happens tonight. Felicia?
All right, thanks so much. Logan Gay reporting live for us. And of course, we're going to have an update of what happens there as our news coverage continues now through 11 o'clock tonight. Angela?
And Marie and Felicia, our sunny, warm stretch continues. You can see it all across central Indiana. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s. As low, and it's not low, at 69 Bunker Hill. We have 75 in Greensburg and 76 in Brown County. Evening temperatures will stay in the 60s and 70s under clear skies. Looks great for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Kicks off at 11:30 tomorrow morning in downtown Indianapolis. We will near 80 degrees tomorrow ahead of a powerful storm system that brings the threat of severe weather. I'll have the timeline in your forecast.